You see, this is what we are always asking. Why I'm upset? One day you wake up in the morning and honey talks to you. No, don't talk to me. What happened? Nothing happened. And on the other day, I'm very happy. And we blame it's a good morning and it's a bad morning. We blame you are a good honey and you are a bad honey. Why we are upset one day and happy the other day? And use it for everything. Today I walked so long and nothing happened, and the next day something happened. Even I walked, in a couple of feet. I'm tired today. I'm not. So on a given day you are not tired. On that day you worked so hard. And you feel very happy. You see our experiences. So this part we are not able to understand. So if you recall all those principles, I will just revise in a different way because it explains the principles in totally a different way, and that is what we are going to do. We will answer the first question in detail. Why we are upset on one day and happy the other day. So when I know the cause, I know it fully. And I experience that cause is triggering me to declare this is a bad morning, the honey is bad, the blame, complaint, fear, pleasure enters into my life. So we are going to explore. So what is the second question? What is the second question?
How impurity manifests in the mind.
How impurity manifests in the mind. Pay attention what we have covered. I know you through my sense organ. So senses are the instrument of knowledge to know the physical world. Am I right? You know your cat, daughter, honey, me, car, everything. So this is the first layer. It is known as the physical, and normally it is translated as a gross. Gross means material, physical. But the second level of knowing happens in the mind. It is a mental knowledge through the thought. Who are you, Lois? So like this. What is this? This is the room, house. So the structure of the thought is the mental knowledge. Third layer. Third layer we cannot know. It is the layer of ignorance. And in that layer of ignorance, all the past impressions are accumulated. It is the reservoir of karmas. It is the reservoir of all the impressions. You have a discomfort in the body while walking, and one day, next day mind says, pay attention. You may not walk. You cannot walk. So those impressions cannot be known by the mind, but its impact is known. When there is an effect, then it is known. So that effect manifests. Morning is bad. Morning is morning, What morning has done to you? Why you are saying bad or morning is morning. Sun always rises in the morning. It cannot be bad. No, it may be a bad morning if the sun sets in the morning. Then there is no change outside. But the change is happening at the mental level. Pay attention, understand it clearly. Physical knowledge through the sense organ, mental knowledge. In that mind, the third layer of which is unknown, and it triggers something into the mind, and the effect is known. That effect is bad morning, that effect is anxiety, that effect is duality, that effect is fear, that effect is maybe extreme pleasure, short-lived pleasure, duality, and a conflict in everything. That is negative. So when its impact, the third layer impacts on the mind, and then my mind expresses, no, I don't want to talk to you. I'm really stressed about you. The mind says you are crazy. Okay, go. And behind that, there is a true nature that is full of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. That is our essential nature. That cannot be undone, but it appears to be undone because the third layer, which is unknown, which contains all the impressions, and then there is a mind. So whatever comes to the mind expresses it. Mind says, okay, I feel bad. What it takes? Why you are insisting me that I should smile? I shouldn't smile. Many examples. No, mind says, no, I have a fear. Now, from there, I don't want to talk further. We are going. So, what is the third question?
What is the purity of mind?
What is the purity of mind? That is a wonderful. I referred it in a different way. When there is no thought, you are simply aware. Awareness is there. So I see all the articles in the room. Awareness is there. Awareness is there. See that. In that field of awareness, I see a beautiful woman, I see the couch, I see the table. Just seeing, looking, appreciating, understanding, knowing, free from likes and dislikes. That awareness cannot be polluted. Pay attention. That awareness cannot be contaminated. Awareness remains fresh, and that awareness is a manifestation of my true nature. 1. That true nature reflects into the mind, and the mind is 90% pure. Mind is 90% pure, peace, happiness, love, full of wisdom. Only 10% enters from the unknown into the mind. It pollutes, it dictates, it guides, it has preferences, it has likes, it has dislikes, it reacts, it blames, it complains, and the life becomes hell. 90% it is pure, whether it is your mind or whether it is my mind. Whether it is your honey's mind, whether it is your daughter's mind. Whether it is your employee's mind, whether it is your mom's mind. That mind is 90% pure. It is dictated by the unknown, the impact of that unknown source. And that unknown source is the accumulated impressions of current impression. And our masters also say it also comes from the previous birth. Why a child, baby is born, and after a few years, they start reacting or responding in a particular way. So the past impression, maybe from the previous birth, triggers and influences the mind, and that is how this mind starts expressing in a particular way, good or bad. look at it. So what is the next question?
What are the 3 levels of perception?
Yeah, 3 levels of perception. I have made it clear. First is the physical, gross. Through the sense organs we see. What we cannot see, that is why it is known as subtle. And that subtle is a mental perception. I cannot know your thought, you cannot read my thought. Sometime I may read it. It happens. Because when the unconscious, the third layer is not influencing the mind, then the mind is so much pure. In that state of the mind, whatever is happening in this mind and whatever is happening in this mind, they become one. So that is how the reading happens. So I'm not going there. So 3 levels of perception: physical, mental, and the unknown source. 3 levels of perception. And what is the next question?
How impurity hides the self.
Yeah, I have already answered. That impurity creates a curtain, a veil. Here is the self, here is the unknown impressions, here is the mind, and here is the sense organ. First, outermost layer, second layer is the mind, third layer is this. So it not only covers the self, but it is constantly triggering and influencing the mind in our daily life in thought, speech, and action. So it is easy to understand. Say example. Now honey is a great example because every time we use in our country, we always use honey. So one day honey looks very good, the other day it appears, no, it's okay, I'm living anyhow. There is no use of devils. It is coming from the unknown source. So this third layer not only covers and veils the self, but it is constantly has a triggering effect by looking at something through the physical organs, through the likes and dislikes. So it is dictating the mind that is 90% pure, Louis. Our mind is 90% pure, full of peace, love, happiness, and wisdom. But it is this layer. This is known as the impression, the third layer. It hides the self. So when it hides the self, and then it triggers. So then I say, no, I'm stressed. I have a lot of anxiety. I have a chronic stress. The fear is from the genetics. So I start creating a theory. And the more and more you are obsessed with those negative thoughts, you have a problem. You have a problem. It goes into the body also. What is the next question?
How impurity leads to distractions and mental challenges.
Yes, that is, I have answered partially. So now understand, this third layer, the past impression, the accumulated impression, has a triggering effect. It goes into the mind. It is known as the impurity of the mind. And the impurity of the mind is caused by the 8 factors. If you remember, object, attachment, desire, confusion, loss of memory, loss of intelligence, delusion, suffering. That impurity coming from the unconscious source. Unconscious source. We meet a person and the mind says, no, this is a crazy guy. But come on, tell me what I did, how I'm crazy now. Just say, you're looking at me and the mind suddenly says, no, you're crazy. Question is, I did nothing. How come I have become crazy? 8 factors. 8 factors. Then followed by the 6 enemies. The 6 enemies, the desire, then the greed, craving, then my expectations are not fulfilled, anger and hesitation. It is also a part of that unknown source. And then the pride. I know I'm right. Even if I'm wrong, I start pressing, and then we enter into a conflict. So once we enter into a conflict, the unknown mind, the mind from deep within, perceives that the guy in front of me appears to be stronger by relationship or by any means. So the fear is inside, and I'm holding back my pride and ego outside. There's a lot of conflict going on. It creates further impression, and it influences badly the body. 90% of our illnesses are psychosomatic. That is why I requested you to please continue the synergy practice, even extend that practice longer. So what is psychosomatic? The trouble begins in the mind, travels into the body, returns to the mind, and this circle continues. It is known as psychosoma. Soma means body. Psychosomatic illnesses. 90% of the illnesses, modern science have started saying it has 80% connection coming from the mind and 20% from the body. I have that experience in my life. Every day. Even if I don't do anything physical for 15 days and the mind lives at a higher level without inviting any trigger and impact from the third level of accumulated impressions, the body enjoys. Another big surprise that I have seen, which my master used to tell me, I never believed it. So I know you will also not believe it. Better not to believe it, so that you have a great courage to practice to reach to that state. Before I started giving you a session, during that period of 2 months, I had an overweight. I did nothing. Except I said, mind, I must take care of you. So everything was regulated. I lost about 12 pounds within 2 months. No dieting. Yes. Normal precaution. I started eating quinoa, a lot of vegetables and lentils. Yogurt was normal, full cream yogurt. And normally I never worried about it. So over years you experience when you are doing this. So first is the impurity, coming back to the principle, because this impurity is constantly triggering you. It is throwing its negative impact, and that impact creates all those 8 factors in your life, and the 8 factors is constantly running in a direction to find the happiness where it is not. Hence the mind is totally wandering, distracted. It is constantly wandering. So these 2 factors, and when this third layer hides the self, it is known as ignorance. I have an incomplete knowledge. What is the next one?
I didn't do how to deal with impurities of mind yet.
How to deal with the impurities of the mind. We'll cover up to the 9. So how to deal with the impurities of the mind. My master used to say, "O mind, be at peace, this will also pass." Which will pass? Mind says, I am stressed. Instantly I recognize it is coming from the past impression, causing the 8 factors. Hold on, I'm not stressed. And you become aware. It is already gone. O mind, be at peace, this will also pass. So he used to say all the time, people are crying, oh mind, be at peace, this will also. How long you will cry? How long?
I'm not crying now.
No, we cannot cry for long. Now see the another secret behind it. And remember this, recall this again and again and again and again. When we ask how to deal with my anxiety, reaction, doubt, and fear, I'm moving in a wrong direction. How? Why? I cannot plan to be angry after an hour. I cannot plan to be stressed. That my 90% pure mind is planning something in the future. That is why it cannot plan anything which is an impact of these 8 factors. Are you clear? I normally, when I used to take a group class, how many people become angry? Normally I'm asking you, 5 people raise their hands. Okay, you really become angry? Yes. Okay, just be angry. You cannot be angry when I ask you. Just be angry. Be fearful. Be anxious. No way. That is the testimony. That is a clear understanding that until this third layer has a triggering effect in the mind, then only I can be angry. Otherwise, there is no way to be angry. There is no way to be fearful. There is no way to be reactive. There is no way to be doubtful. Am I clear? Then why to be worried? Why to be anxious? Why to be fearful? Why to have an action? Then why? There is no reason. And still I create a reason. Because you did this thing, that made me upset. That upset is an impact coming from the 8 factor, created by the 8 factors, coming from the unknown, that impression, that reservoir of karma. And I'm blaming him. Why? Just understand. Logically, first we should have a clear intellectual understanding. Once we have a clear intellectual understanding, then the path is very easy. Car made me upset. Am I crazy or car is crazy? Just see it. Because I have a liking for it, and my car did not drive me according to my liking, so I'm upset. Happening in mind. Coming from the 8 factors. Object, car, attachment, and then desire. If the car is conscious, then car will drive me, I will not drive the car. So question of being upset is unfounded, and still we live into those feelings, thoughts, impression, and that is what is known as ignorance in life. Life is full of beauty. You have everything, beautiful. You have nothing, it is beautiful. My master used to say that I don't own anything, so I don't have a fear of losing anything, so there is already a fearlessness. He says, I'm king of kings, In those days also in India, everyone knew that Bill Gates, my master also knew, even though he was living in the Himalayas. Now what you say? Girish, your Bill Gates is the richest. I'm the richest. I'm richer than him. This is the quality of the mind. This is the 90% of the mind. Is not at all dictated by anything that we have created. We are responsible for our sorrow. We are responsible for our suffering. We are responsible for our fear. We are responsible for our peace and happiness in life. I was thrown by a destiny to be in United States in 2007. And that happened within 2 weeks. When an American guy was there in Delhi, India, and he was listening to my talk. I don't remember which talk, but there was quite interesting talk. 200 people were there, and he was one of them because the talk was organized in a hotel, in a star hotel. And he called me, "No, you are wanted in USA." I said, "I'm very happy with my federal job." So he asked me to send my resume. I didn't send it. He called me again, and I sent my resume. Within 2 weeks, I got a special visa to be here. 2 weeks for the entire family, which is it is known as a special visa, EB-1 visa. So I went to a visa counselor. We all four went. "Are you ready?" I said, "Yes, I'm ready." "Yes. Tomorrow you collect your passport, so we'll stamp the visa." That was the interview. Very goody, everything is goody. But when I came here, nobody knew me. So I was in no man's land. 2 years was a big struggle to make people understand that this is what I offer is a big thing in USA. Big, extremely big. You know it, you're doing business. So only after. I worked at every place, just I don't have any shyness. I work small jobs and in order to at least to pay the rent. But that American guy who lives in New Jersey, he paid rent for about 3 months, I think. After that he said, "This is America. No more money from me." Yeah, he gave me some contact that did not work. Then I started working again and again. And after 2 years, everything started working. I know it will work. I know people need my services. So keeping 90% of the mind pure is the way to succeed in life, in relationship, in personal, professional, social life. This is the point I'm making. Example, your honey is reacting, your 90% mind responds, your 10% mind reacts. See, 90-10, which one is more? Follow that. That includes your all the relaxation practices, the impurity, the 8 factors, the last week we covered, previous to that. So all the principles are summarized here. It becomes practical. Mind says, I hate that tree. Hold on. Coming from the likes and dislikes, it is the 8 factor. What I have to do even if I like or not? That tree exists. I like Louis or I dislike Louis, then what it happens? It is a statement, it is coming from the mind, it is a feeling coming from the 8 factors. The same existence created Louis and this guy also. So that 10% goes down, 90% resurfaces, and it helps you to live into that state. So how to achieve that? So let us have the first part of the practice also. And then we will take up